I can't believe I did that. Monster Sanctuary had a really, really cool update. So Moi Rai, the game's developer, and a game that Swinny and I do appreciate and are fond of, they are actually making some changes to the game, and including some changes where Swinny, they pretty much said they wouldn't do, which is probably my biggest criticism of the game. That the game, especially for someone who's not fully into these type of games, it's just way too hard. It's
Yeah.
way too hard.
Yeah.
And they've said, okay, and I kind of find this funny, Sweetie. They're like, okay, well, we're going to add difficulty settings. We're bringing in a casual mode. But then we're also going to bring in a master mode, which makes it even harder.
Well, yeah, but that part, it's interesting because it's likely was already planned for the New Game Plus anyway, because that's the point of it. But it was the way they mentioned it, it's like, we intended this game to be difficult, blah, 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 and it's like, we're going to make it slightly easier. We obviously don't know exactly how much easier that it will end up being, but it was very much, I think there was a snide comment there.
Oh, yeah.
Really. Like, it was,
I agree.
Like, really, people, you find this too hard? And yeah, people did. Like, I loved your game, but like, really, like, it was way too difficult.
Yeah, well, and look, you're like we always say, you're the official Hall of Famer in Xbox, right? You're all on the RPG, and you gave it up, the game, which I can't believe. You have to go back to it, right, to get the completion.
No, yeah. So I didn't. I gave it up in the sense I paused it because there just weren't many strategies out there. Because you essentially need good teams to be able to take down a lot of the tougher battles,
or grind it out like crazy.
Well, it's like, then I could sit there figuring out which of these 60 bloody monsters I've got are going to be a good mix for this battle. Or I could just pause the game and then hope that some information comes out. And I'm glad I did now, because honestly, I'm going to knock this down to the bloody casual setting. Like 100%.
So I am as well. And I think you and I are both normal to hard difficulty people, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Mike, you're normally always hard difficulty, right?
No. I'm not always hard.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I'm soft.
But we would normally, like, if there was 5 difficulty settings, you'd go for the 4th one, right?
Depends on the game.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yep.
But all I'm saying is, like, we'd probably skew more to like normal to hard, not like ultra hard or the crazy master mode or whatever. I'm gonna do the same, Swinny. When this release, I'm actually putting the game down, and when they release this update. And yeah, I'm going to bump it. Dude, you should play this game. It's on.
You're going to bump it?
Bump it down.
Bump it down.
Yeah, bump it down to easy.
Yeah, I'll play it when they do that. But I got a bit wary and scared when you guys mentioned how hard it was last time.
It's just, like it is, and we've covered it before. Like, you can do whatever you want as a developer. It's your choice. It just, as opposed to Dark Souls and Demon Souls and the Souls game. What is it? Souls-like, Souls-inspired games. That it feels fitting for those games to be very, very difficult. It feels fitting for me, for whatever reason, for crazy platformers to be difficult. It just doesn't feel fitting for like a Pokemon type game to be that difficult. I don't know.
Also,
that's fair enough.
Unlike, okay, so a lot of turn-based RPGs, because this is honestly closer to a Final Fantasy game than a Pokemon game in a lot of ways. Those games have a lot of difficult bosses and things, but they're generally like end game stuff, or they're optional things. There are fights in this game that are not optional, that are super difficult if you don't have a good mix of of monsters. Like, there's fights that just took me for ages to figure out, what am I doing wrong here? And I'm thinking, is there something I'm missing? And it was just because the monsters that I had focused on for the last couple of hours just absolutely sucked. So I had to then go and do other things. I came back and they also sucked. So I had to go back and work on some more. And I love a lot of the game, but it was too punishing at certain points. I just think that and this is where these patches come in handy. Honestly, I don't think this is enough. I think the actual main difficulty still needs some balancing myself. But I'm glad that they're doing this. So
yeah, look, I totally agree. Like, I wish it was just like the master mode was the normal mode. Like, because that's what it feels like to me. It's like so difficult, this game, and it's such a cool game. It just makes it really inaccessible. And even with you, didn't you bump it down, half a point or something like that out of 10 from memory?
Well, yeah, because I started hitting a lot of those
Mm,
roadblocks that you had mentioned, where I'm
yeah.
like, what am I doing wrong here? I am actually above the expected level of this area. I can defeat all the like the general rule is in an RPG, if you can comfortably defeat the random encounters or the general, I guess they call them wild encounters in this game, you should have no problem taking down the boss of an area
Yeah.
because you're comfortably where you should be for that part of the game. And that was not the case for this game now. There's a lot of people out there that when I'm looking up, like, do other people find this game difficult? And there's a lot of people like, oh, you just suck. Oh, you need to get good. You need better stuff. It's like, I'm
Really?
sorry. Like,
Oh,
I have
okay.
played so many RPGs. I can recognize when a game
Yeah.
is unbalanced.
That's the thing as well. You guys have played quite a few hard games. Like you just finished The Messenger, Swinny, and I know that is not an easy game in certain parts. You have really have to do things properly. So you've done some pretty hard games. So this
I say like this, Mike. I find this game harder than Demon Souls and Dark Souls.
really,
Yeah.
damn. I mean, to be
agree,
fair,
I
those
agree.
games are hard, but they're not. They're fair. So
Yeah, this does not feel
This
fair.
sounds unfair. Yeah.
Yeah, and look,
okay.
again, I think you'd agree with this, Swinny. I don't want this to put people off the game. I really love the game. I think it's a great game. It actually has even grown on
wanna
me
try it
since I
now.
played it, But I think I will put it down until they release this patch, and then when they do, I'm going to go back and I'll probably 100% it at that point because it was a really cool game.
But outside of difficulty, they have added some other cool stuff. So,
Well, in the
or
1.1,
they are adding, I should say.
yeah, so they've had some problems with PvP, like including on Game Pass. So there's a whole bunch of issues there. There's an online performance and achievement fixes, which is important for you, Swinny. New Game Plus, which we did kind of mention. And then the other thing that I'm really excited for is, because I hope this game sticks around for a while, they're actually talking about other updates in the future. So things like, updating your player sprite, fixing the minimap a bit, custom markers on the minimap.
The custom markers, that is one of the coolest things because while this is a Metroidvania, I think that because when you start adding the wild encounters into the mix, getting through areas can sometimes take a lot longer than a normal Metroidvania if you hit a wild encounter. So to being able to mark, this was the area where it had a thing I couldn't get past would be really, really good in this game. So it's good they're adding that.
Which is kind of not really. It's almost against the spirit of a Metroidvania.
But I'm saying
custom markers.
because this sometimes does, like take a bit more to get through the areas.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't disagree. And I said it's a Metroidvania, but it's more of a Pokemon RPG game than a Metroidvania for me personally.
I don't mind markers though. Hollow Knight had markers, and I think it worked really well in that. Just generic sort of markers to be able to go, oh, there was like this particular thing, and I still don't remember what I needed to be able to pass it, but I'll go back later. It was really useful.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't exist in Metroidvania games. I do find it to be a little bit against the spirit of Metroidvanias, but that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Souls inspired games. There's core parts of it, but then there's other parts to it that people have arguments about, which should be in the game or not in the game. So
I'm quite excited for the other ones as well. So they're looking at speedrun options to put a timer on display timer, and things like increased battle speed options, which would be great to make it even faster.
I almost cried when I found out that there was an increased battle speed when you told me that.
On
And
the
I've been
show,
playing
on the
slow,
show.
I know. And then the next one is massive, cutscene skipping. Like the fact that I can't just press X or something to get through all the cutscenes drove me crazy.
Yeah, because you have to repeat the cutscenes if you have each time you go back to, and they're not. I'm not going to say they're super long, but if you have,
they
to go
are
back
later
to,
in the game.
Still annoying.
They are later in the game. They're way longer.
And just like other quality of life improvements. So sorting monsters. I like this one. If I understood correctly, being able to cancel the skill point allocations if you're still in the menu. So it's like you've got a chance to still
Confirm,
it's like to reset before you confirm.
So wait, is this one of those games where you can't reset your skills and stuff once you lock them in?
You can, but this is just within, because each monster has their own massive skill tree. So you're updating sometimes like 6 skill trees in one go, So you might make a mistake or whatever, think you're on one monster, not the other. So it gives
Yeah,
you a
it's true.
chance to just reset it before you back out or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so
There's so many systems in this game. It's crazy. Actually, yeah, I hope they keep updating it because I feel like it could catch on in a year's time once they've done all the quality of life improvements. Because there is a lot of things that are a bit weird with the game that I think, yeah, they just need to really, round
Fine-tune
out
it.
those sharp edges, and it would be.
I'm looking
a
forward
lot
to this,
better.
it's almost like I think this game just needs someone with a lot of reach, like a big name content maker
Yeah,
or YouTuber
agree.
or whatever, to and then it will blow up. But if it doesn't get that, there's a lot of games out there, and there's a lot of good games that don't get recognized,
Yep.
and it would be a shame if this one doesn't. So
There's a really good video on YouTube that some dude made of a PC build that no traction because no one's advertising it.
Just hasn't gone viral yet, Mike. All
It
right,
just
let's
hasn't
get
gone
into
viral.
the next story. So some bizarre